Go to.
Okay, so is every occultation sacred? So that's the title of my talk. A hint to Monty Python. Anybody with a sense of humour like mine would understand what that means. So in the good old days, we would have the minimum occultation we would like to consider would be would consist of a binary disappearance. People can see me wiggling my mouse. Yes. No. So a binary disappearance, at least 3 data points in the occultation, and a binary reappearance. So click back on again. So that was the old-fashioned minimum. Then we started to, with fast cameras and so on and so forth, started to consider 2-point occultations as the minimum that you would be considered as a real occultation. Well, the next step after 2 points in the occultation is a single point occultation. Is that a valid occultation? And there's been a discussion inside the occultation community, a bit of a complaint that perhaps we're going to be throwing away valid occultations, 2-point and single point occultations, and they come to a head. And a gentleman outside the community said, well, perhaps you shouldn't be throwing away these somewhat iffy occultations. You should be recording them and classifying them accordingly, so that in years to come, 200-300 years time, somebody can take a dive into the data set and get access to the brief events. So that was the genesis of all this stuff. So, oops, did I just lose my Zoom?
Just close the file.
I just closed the file. Okay. Zoom. Nope. Where do I go to from here? Help.
You are doing it. You just need to open something to see your screen.
I don't know if you heard any of that, Dave.
No.
We can see your desktop, Dave.
We can see your desktop.
Okay, that's all that matters, I suppose.
You didn't have to open something to show us.
Okay. All right. So you can see that, right? In there's 10,000 occultations in the data set, or in excess of 10,000 occultations in the data set, and every single one of them has a quality of fit applied to it. And there's 6 classes of quality. The no reliable position or size is there to say that we've received this occultation, but we don't believe it is real. The short duration event is a new quality fit that has been developed to take account of these somewhat dubious events, to say that we've added it to the data set, but we're not going to use it for astrometry. And then the normal astrometry only is what most occultations longer than 3 data points gets classified. And when you get multi-chord events, you can apply limits to the size and so on. So what I'm about to talk about is a piece of software written as an addition to the IOTA analysis tool. that applies classes of possible and probable to events of 3 durations of and less. So probable events will be classified as astrometry only, assuming it's a single chord event. And possible gradings will be added to this short duration event, no astrometry. So this part over here we'll be talking about in a minute. So there's a nice single chord courtesy of Mr. Hanna. Is it real? We'll look at that in detail later. Pyote has a tool to try and quantify single frame events. It's called the induced noise single data. What's the correct noise? So you with Pyote, you sample the full light noise before the occultation and after. It does some mathematics, and then you define a single point, and it gives you a red line. And if the red line is to the right of these 3, 4, and 5 sigma points, that means it's valid. If it's to the left, it means the single data point is invalid. And with Pyote, basically 99% of single point occultations are classed as invalid. So it's easy to say it's invalid, forget about it, boys. But it's a bit harsh. People complained. So Dave Gault has put together a tool to have a look at single point events and try and classify them. So without Bill Hanna's approval, hi Bill, I'm going to use a couple of his occultations to demonstrate what's happening. So this is the light curve that Bill provides. That's a typical observation of Bill's in a single point, I should say. And when we export them to IOTA, we click a few times. Yeah, okay. In IOTA, we have this new section here called 2B or not 2B, 1, 2, and 3 frame events. So we'll expand that out. You can show the comparison stars, however, they're scaled in a vertical axis. And you can see here, Bill's got a comparison star and in, what would you call that, orange, and the occultation is in blue. The IOTA tool uses the noise of the target star and all the comparison stars and makes calculations. At the moment, the number one comparison star, which is this one over here, it's actually a guide star used in Tangra. So I don't think that forms part of the analysis. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. But it uses the noise and sets an upper and lower limits here of the noise, and then compares it to the occultation and produces a value. So that's what it's saying there is the proposed drop is 3.2 times the full light noise. And then we have over here the probable and possible goals, as it were. So the value here is 3.2 has got to be above 1.32 to be considered possible, and or above 1.87 to be called probable. So this particular event has gone into the data set as a real occultation. So I hope that's clear. So that's an example of a good, strong, solid occultation, single point, possibly even 2 points. Could be argued whether that point is in the occultation or it's in noise. So if we take a look at another one that I've got, another one of Bill's. Hi, Bill. Similar event, but now the light values are a bit lower. I forgot to mention, before you even get anywhere near this sort of stuff, you should, and I do this, I regenerate the post diction to find out the brightness of the target star and what we're expecting. So here we're expecting a mag drop of 3.4 to the 95% value on the light curve. So where's that? So yeah, that's probably right. I'll get rid of that. It looks good, Bill, but when we export it to IOTA, just go through all this. Yes, and expand it out a bit. And we'll show some comp stars, unscaled. Well, you can see that the pink comparison star over here doesn't even register on here. So we go to the 2, and the value given to the proposed single point drop versus the average of the full light noise is 2.38. So that's above the possible target, but it's below the probable target. So this event has gone into the data set as a single point, no astrometry. So it is recorded in the data set, but it's nothing is taken from the observations. The assessment here, you can see a little red check mark. This is based on the target brightness, and if this check box is far to the right, which it is, you've got a good strong signal. I'm pretty sure the bright star is ignored. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave.
You're correct there. If it's in
Yep.
pink, it's
Mhm.
ignored.
Yes. So we've only got one comparison star, and the red check is pretty close to all the other points. So it's not a very good comparison star. If we go into the help and we go to the short event and we scroll down, we can see the criterion used. So this is an event with a comparison star, one comparison star, and these are the target values for the possible and probable, but and the number of data points here is probably in this range here, 50 to 99. So if you multiply 1.2, I'll do that with my electronic brain. So if you multiply 1.2 times 1.5, you can see that because Bill's only got a relative number of data points in the whole recording, and there's only one comparison star, you can see that the scaled values of the goals has been increased to accordingly. So, Bill, I believe I've written to you about this particular event and suggesting that you remeasure it with better comparison stars and produce a longer light curve if you can, and that will get the scaled goal down to the base values, which are 1.1 and 1.5. So whether I don't recall you sending me anything to get this event reassessed.
Dave, can you click the comparison scale so we can see the comparison star? Far left, bottom left. No. Keep going left and down.
Yeah, scaled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scaled. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
But it's gone off the chart. You can see it over here. That it's nearly 3 times brighter than the target star, and that's good off the chart. So if that's what you're asking, Dave?
Yeah. The key thing, if you want to understand it, read the help file topic.
Yeah.
Because the process involves a few things there's running averages and stuff involved in it.
What I don't understand, Dave, and maybe you can help me here. If I click on the running averages and increase the running averages, we can get the drop higher and get it above the goal. The default is 25. One click of 33, and it's in like Flynn. So I don't understand that. So
the test is not a black and white test, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, at this point in time, it's gone in as a single point, no astrometry, to the best of my knowledge, anyway, unless you've changed it, Dave. So
unlikely.
Unlikely. All right. So I hope people are following on, but I hope people, when they're reporting events and they get a single point event, that they're looking at their prediction, and they run this test because it's not hard, if they want to save me a bit of time, they can send me a screenshot and saves me having to do it. So
You want a couple of questions on the fly, Dave?
yeah, go.
So I guess when I select comparison stars for doing Tangra, I'm in the habit of choosing fairly strong ones as to act as guides,
Yep.
temperature in the right spot. But what I'm thinking you're telling me there is that you want to maximize the sample of noise, the same signal level of the target.
That's correct. So ideally, I found it's okay to have a good strong guide, one good strong guide star, one comparison star about the same brightness of the target, and perhaps a fainter one will get you a better result out of the new test.
But the changing of the criteria, depending on the number of stars, is simply about having more sample of noise.
That's right, and a longer recording. You know, you give it a length of 50. If we go back, no, I haven't got that open. If you ever give it 50 points, the scale value will be multiplied by 10. So it'll be a non-result anyway. So you want 300 or 400 data points. And if your cadence is 1 second, then you got a long recording to. But the longer the recording and the more valid your comparison stars are, a similar brightness to the target, the better the result's going to be.
Okay.
Okay. How long have I got to go?
Ari's saying none, but there's also a fair bit of chatter in the room. Have we got questions? Yes. Yeah, because Murray kept talking to her.
That's all right.
Dave, carry on, but yes,
How I don't know how long I've got to go.
just about done. But yes, 2-3 minutes. Let's go.
2-3 minutes. Okay. Well, I'll dive into next month's stuff, and come on, open up, and we'll have a look at Michael Camilleri's one. So I just looked at this last night. So where's my occult? Yeah, all right. Open. Now, all right. Now, Michael's written. Open with Word. These notes that come through to me are great, but he essentially is saying it's a 2-frame drop, low cross factor noise, 20 seconds early. So if we go and have a look in here, we expand it out a bit. So this is a nice long recording, which is good. So there's a 2-point drop, 20 seconds early. We apply the test, and it's above the possible, below the probable value. So is it real? I don't know. 20 seconds early. It could be. It looks a pretty good event. What's the prediction? Michael's. So we're looking for a 97% drop here. So it's certainly not that, but it could be. It could be the B component of a double star being 20 seconds early. Who knows? So we could treat it as a real event, but because we didn't get the full drop in here that I can see, we could put it in the data set as the B component of a proposed double star, but it would still be marked for no astrometry because we can't define the photosynthesis of the double star. What's the RUWE? Not available. I'd have to run the prediction to find out what the RUWE is to see what the Gaia satellite thinks is the quality of the star. So more work to do on that, but I hope that's helpful. Any questions?
Can I add a comment?
Yep.
In the chat, Jonathan's mentioned the proximity of the event to the predicted time, give or take an appropriate time for it being a satellite.
Oh, yes.
Refers to that.
Yep.
This issue requires some care. With our occultation processing, we need to ensure that there is independence between what we observe in the light curve and what the prediction indicates. The prediction is relevant to setting a length of the light curve where you might expect, or where you need to look to find an event. But once you've got that defined, the location or the time of the prediction is an irrelevant consideration for interpreting the light curve. The light curve interpretation must be done on a standalone basis. Otherwise, you have a feedback, an undesirable feedback of identifying an event because of its consistency with what was known, and independence of what was known is strictly required.
So you can't say this point occurred at the predicted time because you're navel gazing.
And in fact, there are times when I think that if the observed time closely matches the predicted time, I start wondering whether the event is real versus just matching a blip in the noise to the prediction. This test is designed to avoid that, and I've got involved with a project with JPL and Horizons, and Dave Gault's involved in this. We're going to be looking at or comparing orbits derived using the latest Gaia data with the astrometry from our occultations, and there are issues with some events I've got to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dave.
Righto. Okay. Unshare.
Share. Who's next? Some applause. Okay, one to another. Is there anything in the chat? Got 31 items there. Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I can see what's in the chat. Okay.
Just a very quick one before we move on. And going back to Bill's second event, I mean, we've all watched bazillions of hours of our telescopes gathering data, and that second event in particular really does look like a clear extinction. I guess what I'm talking to about the timing is that where I used to be, I'm not there anymore in Sanford, we had bats all over the place. And a single drop extinction could easily have been a bat going across it. And in fact, if I put the gain up, I could see them traveling around the sky, particularly at certain points of the time. So these are the things with these marginal events that I'm alluding to. We've got to work out whether it's an occultation event happening up in the sky or in the atmosphere. In some of these cases, it's hard. And it is, as Dave says, it's a or Dave Harold says, it's a judgment call ultimately. There's no way of making it automatic.
You got bats in your belfry, Jonathan.
Absolutely. Plenty of them.
Yeah, good. Nice to hear.
Okay, thank you. Over to Mr. Harold.
Right.
Screen's up, Dave. Looks good.
Okay.